Well, Supercross is back. Kind of, sort of. It's a little weird. Let me explain. So Supercross is back. The AMA, the sanctioning body, Feld Entertainment, I don't know, whoever else is running that damn show, they struck some kind of blood deal with Utah, the state of Utah, and they're going to run 7 rounds of races at the same stadium in Utah, which is unheard of. They usually have 1 round at Utah. Anyway, I'm just happy it's back. No fans in the stadium. Only the top 40 in points. So basically what you don't see on television is during the day they have all of these practice sessions, these timed qualifying sessions. And that's the chance and the opportunity for a lot of the privateers to kind of make what's called the night show. The night show is basically what gets televised on TV. So, it's kind of ironic from the fact that usually these races are scattered from the East Coast to the West Coast. And that's super tough for a privateer, and the schedule doesn't always take into consideration that there's a whole bunch of these privateers who are paying for their own way, and they've got to drive across the country back and forth. And I just find it ironic that for these last 7 races, they're going to hold them all at the same location, but they're going to exclude anybody outside of the top 40. And I get it. It's this whole coronavirus thing, COVID-19. They're trying to keep the number of people in the stadium and within close proximity of each other to a minimum. I mean, that makes sense, but it's just so dang ironic. These poor privateers, they're just always getting screwed over. So it is what it is. I'm not a privateer, I'm just a fan. I'm happy to see it come back on television. The other thing that they're doing that's really weird and new and strange, and I guess they're doing this in a hurry, maybe, I hope, so that they can run the motocross series, which here in the States we commonly refer to as the great outdoors, because motocross is ran in the outdoors on natural terrain tracks, usually out in the middle of nowhere, where Supercross is man-made tracks built inside of football stadiums or baseball stadiums, right? So, here's what's really, really weird. Usually they race Supercross on Saturday night. And it's usually every week they do build in a week off here and there into the schedule, but for the most part they're racing once a week. Not anymore. So this is going to be pretty interesting because Supercross is a pretty anaerobic sport, and so is motocross. Heart rates into the 160, 170s for a well-conditioned athlete. People that don't have as much control over their heart rate, their breathing, and their form maybe is not so good, they might run into the 180s, even higher. So recovery is key after you spend an hour or more at those kinds of heart rates. Your body needs to recover. You need to rehydrate, and you need some rest, right? Well, here's where it's going to be really interesting. I think this is going to play into Eli Tomac's favor. I think he's one of the fittest dudes out there. Not that any of those dudes are not fit, but he is a beast. He's just a beast. So, here's what they're doing. Instead of Saturday nights, they're going to race Sundays at some really awkward times. It's not the same time every Sunday. I don't know what that's about. But they're going to race Sundays, and then they're going to race Wednesday. They're basically going to race twice a week. That's a major change and impact to the riders. So that's going to be super interesting to see how all that plays out. Now, as far as points, let's take a real quick step back. Supercross has been put on hold for 3 months. I think the last race was March 7th. This first race, what's up, dude? This first race, hey, what's up to you, man? This first race is May 31st, so not this coming Sunday, but the following Sunday. So that's awesome. I can't wait. I can't wait to see that race. Where was I going with all of that? I don't even remember the point I was trying to make. So I think the point I was trying to make, there's that Jeep again, I think it's nice. The point I was trying to make is that it's all just really weird. I think that's really the only point, is things are just strange right now. Privateers are getting screwed, and no fans in the stadium. That's got to be super awkward. Could you just imagine these guys lining up on the gate, they're looking out into the stand, and I wonder if they'll even have the announcer, right? So when you watch it on TV, you've got your television commentators. Usually there's two of them, and they're yapping back and forth and whatnot, and that's typically what you hear most of the time on the television. But if you're actually at the race, you're in the stadium, obviously you don't hear those guys. They're just talking to the TV audience. So they have a stadium announcer who's also kind of commentating, and when you're there physically, there's a lot of dead time in between races. Sometimes they got to repair the track, they got to do different things, and so to kind of fill that dead time, they'll do interviews and those kinds of little filler events, if you will. I guess they're not gonna have any of that. Like, why have the stadium announcer if there's no fans in the stadium? So I don't know, that's kind of an interesting aspect. That dude's out of a job, so that's super exciting. I think where I was trying to go earlier is being off for 3 months. March 7th was the last race, Daytona, which was a great race, a huge comeback from Eli Tomac. I really didn't think he was going to win that. I felt like Ken Roczen was too far gone, and he being Eli Tomac, wasted too much time following the 3 guys that were in front of him. I think at one point maybe 4. I think he was 5th or 6th off the start, and he didn't move for the longest time. But then he started making his moves, and somehow he caught Roczen, who was pretty far out in front. The dude's a beast, man. He's just a beast, and I really got to think he's going to pull it off finally this year. But yeah, Eli Tomac has a 3-point lead on Ken Roczen, which is nothing. So it's down to those two. Now, I say that, give you guys some room so you can pass that bicyclist without running him over. This is the worst road to ride a bicycle on. There's no shoulder, but these dudes, they love it. I see bicyclists out here all the time. Like, there's no freaking way I'd ride my road bicycle on this road. I don't trust the drivers around me to do the right thing. So I think some of the riders are gonna kind of approach these next 7 races as if the previous X number of races never even happened. Like, the season is starting now, at least for Eli Tomac and Ken Roczen. Now you got Cooper Webb in 3rd. You can't count him out yet. I mean, he's more than a full race behind in points, but with 7 races, if Eli has a really bad night and Roczen has a really bad night, and Webb does what he does, which is just stay consistent, Webb finds a way to get good starts when the main event drops. He finds a way to get good starts, and just, you know, he rises to the occasion, so to speak. He can have really crappy qualifying, not such a great heat race, but then main event time, he's for real. So you can't count him out yet, but the way Roczen and Tomac have been riding, it's definitely an uphill battle. He needs both of those guys to make mistakes. He's not gonna, let me put it to you like this, Webb is not gonna win out the series. That's not happening. Not unless Roczen and Tomac have some kind of injury. It's just not gonna happen. Webb is not gonna win out. Tomac has been on fire. Roczen is finally back from those devastating arm injuries. He's winning races. He's running up front. Webb is going to be there. He's going to be on the podium. He might win 1 or 2 of these, but he needs Tomac and Roczen to have at least one really bad night or a couple mediocre nights, and that's a really tall order. I don't see that happening, but it could happen. There's still lots of racing left. Okay, yeah. There you go. Supercross is coming back, baby. Woo! What is that? The 883 Sportster, I think? Road Rash just got one of those. Harley-Davidson is going to release a limited edition version of their FXDR, which is a pretty cool looking bike actually. I guess that's like their follow-on to the V-Rod, although I will say this, even though I do think the FXDR is a cool looking bike, and I wouldn't mind riding one, at least test riding one, I think the V-Rod was better, at least, well, that's just my opinion. That's my 2 cents. I think the V-Rod was better, but you know, I'm also a big biased V-Rod fan. That downshift felt weird. Are you gonna cross the street? Let this lady cross the street, man. Come on. There you go. You're welcome. So, Harley's gonna release this FXDR. Sorry for the interruption, but that lady was never gonna make it across the street. They're gonna release it in the oh gosh, in the what, Dave? In the United Kingdom and Ireland. Gorilla Biker. Get one of these FXDRs, let me know how it is. I can't help but wonder why this limited edition, and why in those 2 select countries. I hope that Harley pulls their head out of their butt and prices it competitive with BMW's new R18. So I haven't done one of these weekly recap videos in a long time, basically since Supercross stopped. I was just so disappointed and upset, and I let that become an excuse to not do these videos, and I could have found plenty of other content to keep doing these videos, these weekly recaps, but I didn't. That's bad on me. I'm not gonna let that happen again. But I can't help but think that the FXDR, this limited edition version being released into the UK and Ireland, and why not Scotland? Does Scotland not ride motorcycles? I mean, you know, you're releasing it to part of the British Isles, but not all the British Isles. I'm sure there's a business case for it, but I don't know what it is. I can't help but wonder if it's a response to BMW's R18. The only reason why I kind of think maybe not is because if it was, why wouldn't they release it to a much larger European list of countries, starting with Germany, right? But then again, you know, the other side of it's like, but why do this at all if not for that? Is there some love affair that the United Kingdom and Ireland have with the FXDR that only they get this limited edition because they're special? I don't know. Well, I don't want to keep talking too much about stuff just because my last 2 videos have been kind of crazy long, and I actually don't like editing really long videos. It's a lot of work, man. And I don't want people to feel like they've got to listen to me for 20 minutes because, man, that can't be fun. So I got one more thing I want to talk about before I leave you guys, and that is, I can't remember, so I'm gonna have to pull over and look at my list. All right, we got a stoplight. Let's just do this now. Let's do it now. Dang it! Oh, where did I put that dang list? Oh, come on, quick! Oh, it's all folded up. Oh, R18. Oh, no progress. That's crazy. No, that was it. I did it. I talked about everything, I think. Okay, we'll go with that. I didn't see anything on there that I haven't talked about. We talked about the privateers getting screwed in Supercross, the crazy schedule, and that is back Sundays and Wednesdays. That's so weird. It's gonna be really weird to watch Supercross on a Wednesday night. Okay, guys, that's it for this weekly recap. I'm really gonna work hard on doing these weekly recaps every week and try and find the most interesting news and keep it down to like 5 to 10 minutes, that kind of time range. And yeah, keep your rubber side down. Subscribe, like, and share this video. It helps me make, like, you know, a couple more cents every month, which helps me feed my family. They're still starving. I think that's all I got. I'm done. See you guys later. Bye.